Greetings and welcome from Batu Ferringhi on the island of Penang in Malaysia. Today in the morning has been raining, so I thought it's still quite cloudy, so I thought it's the perfect time to make this video that I've been wanting to make for a while now. 10 things I love about Malaysia. So let's start with number 10, I don't want to judge, the 10 things about Malaysia. Maybe I love them equally, but that doesn't matter. So you got to start somewhere. So let's start with number 10. All right. And what is that? It's the visa. Yes, the visa. In many countries, you have to apply for a visa in advance. Some of them even in your home country. So it's not good if, when you're traveling already to get a visa. It's not easy. But here in Malaysia, none of that. You get, once you arrive by air or by land, you get 90 days on arrival for free. You don't have to pay for it. Number 9 would be transport. Malaysia is an exceptionally well-equipped country when it comes to transport. It's got trains. You got the commuter trains from shorter distances, which is very cheap. You got the highly modern ETS trains. They're not as cheap, but they get you where you want to go in no time. Of course, all the trains are fully air conditioned. You've got the Jungle Railway, which leads from from Singapore almost up to Kota Baru in the east. Which is a great journey anyway. And of course, the bus system. You have really great super class buses, and some of them that are not so great but are still great, and they're cheap, they're not so expensive. Of course, they're super luxurious buses, but they're not so expensive. So if you want to go luxury, travel in style for not so much money, Malaysia is your country. Then we have also, inside the cities, you have a great bus system. Oh, by the way, check it out. Here's one of those buses that goes around on the island of Penang, which is not so small, which is great. And of course, in some cities, like in Georgetown, like the capital, if you want to say, of the island, there are even free city buses. I mean, not so many, but the regular ones also, they're not very expensive. They're cheap. Yeah, and this you have in several cities, like in KL you have that. And I think in Johor and some of the other cities as well. So transport, wow. Number 8, which is an important one as well, for me at least, is the cost of living, the cost of traveling. It's quite an affordable country, Malaysia. It's not like totally rock bottom, like Bangladesh, but it is affordable, by European standards, or international standards. You can, starting with, transport, as I mentioned earlier, it's quite affordable and good. And then hotels. I've stayed in many hotels over the years, and you can get a double or even a family room for as low as 40 or 50 ringgit. Of course, for a single, you can, respectively cheaper than that. And those hotels are, they're not even so bad. Of course, there are also, bad hotels, but not so many. I mean, we usually stay like if we stay in hotels and not in apartments, then we stay in like Chinese hotels mostly, and they're okay. They're clean enough. The people are friendly enough. Or pretty friendly, actually. What am I saying? And of course you can. There's a thing called homestay, which is very popular as well here in Malaysia. You can get very good deals, even on Airbnb. If you have, especially if you stay a month somewhere, you can get an apartment, like two bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment. You can get for as little as $200 or $300, maybe $400. It depends on, of course, if you want this to come with a pool or with a gym, or but you can stay pretty cheap if you want that. And food. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. It's great, but I think I'll talk about food a bit later. It's cheap. I mean, you can have a full meal, with rice and chicken, or with vegetables, or a soup, or some meals are, you know, below $1 US, you know, like a nasi campur, for example. You can get that, yeah, for like, let's say 80 cents US, you know. And of course, I'm not even talking about snacks, about, you know, samosas or, you know, all kinds of little things. Malaysia is yeah, I talk about this later. But you know, you can eat very cheap, and of course you can eat also expensive. You can splurge, you know. As well with the hotels, of course, they have 5-star hotels. They have, you know, all kinds of things, you know. If you want to, you can go on expensive cruises. I mean, if you're here to spend money, is no problem. You can spend that money, you know. Don't you worry. But if you want to come as a budget traveler, as I always come, yeah, you'll be good. You'll be very good. Number 7, the living possibilities. They are vast. If you're here, you know, if you're here for a long term or a long time, let's say, or 3 months or 6 months, you know, you can rent, you know, a condo or an apartment, you know, like we do here, you know. Check this out, you know. So it's very luxurious, you know. We've got a gym over there, we've got a table tennis room, we've got a few pools, and this is the major pool here, so this is very good. Upstairs, we're living in a 3-bedroom apartment with a large living and dining room. So for us, that's like high up, you know. And we for this pleasure, we pay, you know, about 500 US. So that is not super cheap, but every once in a while we do, you know, splurge, you know, and, you know, live well for a month or two, you know. But of course, then there are lots of hotels, you know, different kinds, like expensive one, luxurious hotels, luxury hotels, you know, guest houses. There are, yeah, motels. There are, for, you know, for backpackers, for example, there are hostels where you can get only a bed, you know, in a dorm. You can get, you know, yeah, expensive hotels, cheap hotels, and, you know, a lot of apartments or even townhouses. We've lived in townhouses before. You know, you can actually go to one of the cities you like so much or that you find interesting, and then, you know, there find a way over homestay or Airbnb or, you know, whatnot. And there's, you know, there's a lot of possibilities, you know, given here in Malaysia. So of course in other countries you can do that too, but I noticed, especially in Malaysia, I've been happy slowly traveling around, you know, living in all kinds of different accommodation. So this is a very, you know, a big plus, you know. It makes things easier, you know. In some countries, you know, there's only designated areas where foreigners can live or stay during their holidays, and yeah, that's a big difference, of course. So that's yeah, number 7. Number 6, it's the language. Bahasa Melayu. It's not the most difficult language, but you can learn it. But if you don't have time, don't have the motivation, or, you know, whatever, English is just fine. In this country, most people speak a fair amount of English. Many people speak great English. And yeah, of course, some people don't, or not so much, or just a little, you know, like in the rural areas. But definitely coming here, you know, one thing I love about it is that I can converse in English with so many people. So this is definitely, you know, a major point. Also, like for other people, for tourists who come here, it's not a problem. So definitely the language, number 6. Number 5, the beauty of the country. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I could make a separate video just about, you know, talking about the beauty of the country, you know. It has blown me away from the beginning when I first came here in '98. And over the years, as I returned to Malaysia, and often, you know, for an extended period of time, it was always my thing, you know. It's not only that, but yeah, it is beautiful. The jungles, you know, the hillsides, you know, the hill stations, the beaches, the cities, the little kampung, the villages. You know, a place like Penang, for example, is so much of, you know, it's so much beauty, you know. And I'm not talking about the beaches, I'm talking about, you know, nature, I talk about jungles, I talk about, you know, all kinds of things to see. In the cities, you know. I mean, you go to Georgetown, Taiping, Malacca, Kota Baru, in Kuching, on the other side of Malaysia. There's so much beauty, and so also it's nature. Also, you see lots of animals. You know, there are all kinds of monkeys, and you know, this I wouldn't even know where to be. No, I cannot just add up everything I know about it. It's just beautiful, you know. So it makes it. I mean, it makes it worthwhile coming here and living, you know, for an extended period of time. Or if you just come, you know, for a holiday, on vacation, you know, you'll be stunned by the beauty, you know, the rivers, you know. No, I'm not gonna go on now, but yeah. So this is definitely, you know, a big plus, of course. And number 4, what I love about Malaysia so much is that it is a multicultural country, and you know, like when I say that, I don't mean, you know, there's lots of immigrants, but it actually is. Malaysia is made of, you know, of course, mainly the Malay people. You know, they're sort of like more native to the area, you know, coming from these lands, Indonesia. And then there is a large Chinese population, you know, that have migrated here a long time ago and are very much established as well. And then there's an Indian, you know, community, you know, which pretty large, also have come here a long time ago, you know. So, and these 3, you know, cultures are the main, you know, the main communities that, you know, are the making of the Malaysian society. So I love this very much. So, you know, I mean, you can some streets have a mosque and have a church and have a Hindu temple and have a Buddhist temple. You know, you can you know, see all of that. You can visit all these temples or places of worship, you know. And yeah, of course, and you have, you know, all kinds of different foods. I'll get back to that later on. And yeah, you can witness, you know, when you come here on a holiday, or yeah, preferably, it's always preferably for a longer stay. You know, you can experience, you know, multiple cultures. You know, you don't have to go to China or to India. No, of course, it's different still. But yeah, so you want to go on, you know, on a holiday for, you know, and to experience lots of different cultures. And I think Malaysia is pretty much, you know, the first thing that comes to mind, right? So this is what I love. It's definitely one of the main reasons why I keep coming back here, you know. Okay, number 3 on this list. It could be as well number 2 or number 1 even, you know, for me. But, you know, I'm not judging. It's not, you know, it's just I'm just making a list, you know. It doesn't mean, you know, 3 or 2 or 1 or 10 or 9. It doesn't really mean anything, right? So anyway, so number 3 on this list now. I had to choose food. Yes, food. Yeah, this could be for many people the main reason to come here. Yes, it's one of the very most important reasons for me. Definitely, let me assure you. For me, Malaysia is the food capital of the world. I don't think you get better food anywhere. Of course, you get good food in, you know, in many countries. Let's say China or in India, you know, lots of places, right? But here in Malaysia, because I told you before, it's a multicultural country. It really is. That comes with the food too, not just with the religions, with the, you know, with the customs and cultures. And yeah, boy, that's what I love. I love that you have Indian food, Chinese food, Malay food, and of course other foods, well, you not even want to talk about Western food, you know. When I'm here, I don't give a flying rat's ass about Western food. Although, you know, sometimes, you know, have some Western food. But yeah, I love to get up in the morning and eat, you know, roti canai, or, you know, a noodle soup. Or, you know, I don't even know what to say anymore. So, number 2 of this list. Normally, I would put this on number 1. But since this is now filmed, recorded, you know, created in the year 2020, I gotta put it on number 2. I'll explain later. So what is it? What could it be? It's the people. Yes, Malaysia and its people. it's great, you know. Like I talked so much already about different cultures, different, you know, backgrounds, and that doesn't matter. Well, the first day I arrived in Malaysia, and that was somewhere in 1998, so 22 years ago, which is, you know, makes me, you know, kind of look old, right? It was the people that, you know, won me over. I mean, I did come, you know, from Thailand. I like the people there too. But yeah, being here, getting here, it was mind-blowing, you know, because people were actually friendly, and they were not friendly just because, you know, they wanted something, or, you know, like in, let's say in some countries, when you go to tourist places, people want your money, of course. Although not saying that Thailand is one of those countries, although then I do want to say that in the touristy places, I don't like the Thais. Well, I love the Thais, but this video is not about Thailand, it's about Malaysia. So people were actually interested in us. Me and my friends who came here back then in the old days, you know, on our first, you know, like big backpacking trip, you know, we ended in Malaysia, and it was all of a sudden it was clear, wow, you know. I mean, not just, you know, all the things I've mentioned, but it's the people, and it's always the people, because the people make the country. The people, you know, built the country. The people cook the food in the country, you know. So it all comes down to people. And although I couldn't, you know, tell you yet now a country where the people were unfriendly, but here they were particularly friendly. I love them, you know, and they're fascinating, and you know, and all the points that I accumulated so far, you know, comes down to the people. So yeah, so it's the people. I love them. I don't care if they're Malaysian or Indian or Chinese. Everybody treats us with respect, is kind to us, helpful. You know, if you need to know something, they'll help you. You can talk to anyone in the street, which, you know, takes us back to the language point, right? Which is point 6, I think. Yeah, so the people make the country. Love them. As number 1, I put something that I normally would not put, you know. Never was in a situation where I had to. But number 1 of things I love about Malaysia at the moment is the government. You seem to be taken aback, right? Yeah, I would find that strange too, maybe, you know. But the thing is, yeah, let me explain. 8 months ago, well, a bit more than 8 months ago, we came to this country, and we were going to stay for 3 months because, you know, point number 10, you know, is visa, right? So we can stay for 3 months, for 90 days, which is good, you know, but sometimes, you know, you'd like to stay longer. Anyway, so, but the government, I put because the government helps us. The government helps me as a foreigner who is kind of like stranded in Malaysia because of the current COVID-19 corona situation to, you know, with many things. Like, for example, they did not tell us to leave, you know, 3 months after, you know, after staying here 3 months, 90 days, you know. They said, okay, now we have a, you know, special, these are special circumstances, and you, like all other foreigners who are on this, you know, 90-day social visit pass, you can stay for longer, you know. You can stay as long as it takes for that, you know, virus, for that pandemic to be over with. So, and now, yeah, we've been here now more than 8 months already, you know. Of course, I would like to continue traveling and all, you know, to see more countries, because, of course, my channel, Moonshine and Lemongrass, is a travel channel. But now I've been in Malaysia for 8 months, which is a good thing. You know, I love Malaysia. Of course, 1 month into that, or was it 2 months, stay here, it was a lockdown, you know, which lasted almost 2 months, and that was not so much fun, of course, like all of you know. I mean, especially the ones who are in Malaysia, or, you know, there was lockdowns all around the globe, and in some countries they made foreigners, you know, leave, so get the hell out of my country, or, you know, made it more difficult to stay, or, you know, make them pay for their visa extensions. So the government, you know, really had our backs. So for me, the government had my back, mine and my family's back. They said, you can stay, you know, you be safe. And I also think the government, which I really say, you know, I would never have said before, the government is so great, but to any other country. But here it is great. They're handling this, pandemic, very well. There was not so many cases. Of course, now there's some spikes sometimes here and there. But if you compare it to many other countries, it is, I feel safe. I felt safe pretty much from the beginning, with all the measures, all the, things they told people to do, and people being compliant more or less. Of course, it's very difficult to reign over a people and nothing not going as planned. Maybe that works in North Korea, I don't know. But anyway, so that's why I now put the government as number one. I really must say thank you, Malaysia. I'm very happy that I still can stay here with my family. I thank you for the 8 months that have passed, that I could keep my children safe, myself safe and sane, And of course, now we've been, for months now, we've had a lot of freedom. Of course, you wear the mask in places that are crowded, or in places where you cannot, do social distancing and everything. And I think we've had it good, compared to many other countries, where it was a lot harsher. So that is why I put this on number one. If there's no pandemic, then we could maybe, put the people back on number one, or the food, but it's the people. Or the people in the food are number two, and the people are number one. But now, and I know, of course, having spent 8 months here and being protected by Malaysia, by the government of Malaysia, I know, or I think to know, that in a similar circumstance, it would be the same again. Kind of makes me not want to leave. But yeah, we do want to leave too. Eventually, we're still staying here, and we're very grateful that we can do that. So Malaysia government number one. Okay, guys. Yeah, that was my list. Of course, I could make a list a lot longer because there's so many things I love about Malaysia. You can see, you can watch 8 months of vlogging. More or less. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I feel very confident. So, but 10 things I love, that's a good list. You don't want 20 or 50 or 100 things I love about Malaysia, right? Yeah, I'm just thinking also maybe I should do a list that 10 things I hate about Malaysia, but I really don't. You can't think of 10 things. Maybe I should do 5 things I hate about Malaysia. What do you think? Should I make a list about things that I hate about Malaysia? I don't think I hate anything about Malaysia. But yeah, I haven't really thought about it, Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, but that doesn't have to be. I will upload this, and then my thoughts, my 2 cents, whatever. Okay, guys, take good care, and stay as you are, guys.